Hey guys, it's Pete from Pete for Anxiety here, the mental health podcast, breaking the stigma that mental health is talked about again. Welcome in today's episode. Before we get started today, we need to cover a few things really quick. Let's talk about the Pete for Anxiety Patreon first off. It's only $1, guys. $1. What does $1 get you? $1 gets you into the exclusive episodes I am recording currently. I'm actually focusing on certain different diagnoses of things to show you guys what it actually looks like as it manifests in a person. So why not for $1, judges? Yeah, they said $1. I just checked with them too. See, they said it was okay. It was $1 anyways. Let's also talk about the Oracle Talk Radio Networks app. In case you can't be here live listening to me, watching this video, supporting the show, you can listen to it on the radio app. Why not? It connects us live to our 365 radio. Just go to your app stores and download the Oracle Talk Radio Network. You'll see the big old Oracle Talk Radio Network app logo right on there. Download it, and it'll connect you to me, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, to Pete for Anxiety when I'm live doing my thing right here, informing the world and raising mental health awareness. So where are you going to be? 10 a.m. Of course. Come on. We just talked about this. Pay attention for once. Damn. Do y'all know how to listen? And as always, guys, like, follow, and share the YouTube channel. If you guys like what you're seeing, leave some comments, man. We want to know. I want to know if you like what we're doing. You want to be on the show? Let me know. Hit me up at PeteVersusAnxietyPod@gmail.com. And as always, guys, enjoy the show. And by the way, did I mention to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well? Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure because some of y'all are hard of hearing in the back, may have to yell loud or get a megaphone or something. But, anyways, let's get today's show started. Y'all have a great one. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome into another exciting episode of Pete vs. Anxiety, the mental health podcast breaking the stigma that mental health is talked about enough. Today, my guest is none other than the one, the only, Sprite. Sprite, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
How you doing today? You good?
I'm okay.
You okay? Well, why don't you tell everybody a little about yourself? Give them a little rundown. So let them know who Sprite is.
Well, Peter, I wasn't prepared for anything. I'm just joking. I'm 36 years old. I'm a mom of 3. I'm currently fostering my cousin's daughter. That's been a hoot. I'm very quiet sometimes. I'm very quiet sometimes. When I let my hair down is when I talk a lot. I'm more sociable with people. 9 times out of 10, I'm a genuinely happy person. I recently got engaged to a wonderful man who works my nerves daily. I recently dived into diamond art because my major in high school was anything art, theater, anything dealing with art. That was me. So I was like, okay. Later down the line, I knew I was going to be somebody's art teacher or somebody teaching theater or something like that, but it wasn't in the cards. So I'll teach it to my kid. One sings, one dance, one plays an instrument. I said, that's good enough for me. But try to teach it more than one kid. No.
You got yourself a regular band going there almost,
Right. If I record with them sometimes, like I record, like create some skits and stuff, and I'll have them record, and they're just like, Mom, are we done? I'm like, no, we have to shoot it. It's perfect.
Okay, whoa, calm down there, Miss Jackson. Okay, you sound like Michael Jackson for a second, man. Hold on now.
No, see, the difference between me and Mr. Michael Jackson, I give out treats. I encourage them. I'm like, okay, you guys, the 5-minute break, like my 8-year-old, she suffers with severe ADHD and impulsive, disorderness. So I'm like, I have to learn patience when it comes to that. So if you're not if she see you getting frustrated, she's gonna shut down and get frustrated. And she's not gonna want to do anything. See, when I say that is my twin, I'm like,
is that the same thing you deal with though? Is that the same diagnosis you have? Kind of, give everybody a little rundown what your diagnosis is.
When I went to go see a physician, she didn't tell me I had ADHD. It might be for her dad that has ADHD, but now as I've gotten older, I think I do have it because everything distracts me and I can't like right now I see this thing, I'm like, oh, a cucumber, like what is that? She's the same way. But when I went to go talk to my physician, she was just like, have you ever heard of like multiple personality disorder? And I'm looking at her like,
Yeah, it's called DID now or something like dissociative something disorder now. They call it
I'm
something else now, but yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't think I have that because she was like, but you keep switching in and out. And I'm like, well, that's when you do when you are performing and stuff like that. And she was like, see, this is reality. This is not, you're not on a stage, Sprite. You're not on, um, you're not in the movie. And I'm like, well, when you're that creative, you deal with that constantly when you're that
Yeah.
creative. So it's like, okay, well, let me put myself into this character. Let me put myself into this book. Let me put myself into my art that I'm taking. So I take art very seriously. And I was just like, I need a second opinion on your diagnosis because she prescribed me medicine and everything. And she made it seem like I was really crazy. And I was like, I'm not crazy, lady. Am I? Like for that whole week, I would just would go home like, am I crazy? Am I?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a question people have though when they get medicine like that, especially when it comes to that one. It gets
Yeah.
interesting because there was a case study I'd listened to that there was a woman interviewed. She had done one on her own podcast. The girl's mom had 23 different personalities. She had to document each one and had to write down. They had different handwriting samples and everything, and it was an interesting thing. So, I mean, it's possible. You never know, man. Especially when it comes to that one, it's a little tougher though because I know that one's a little gray area for that one. So when people say they have it, it's a little tougher because you got to be careful because you don't know for sure a lot of times because like it makes sense. So if you think of like that movie Split, where the guy is just basically changing personalities and different characteristics will come out, just like playing in a movie. Hey, you're acting these parts out and things like that.
Yeah. I was like, so it's not you never like took your work seriously? She was like, I have. I take it seriously every day. And
Yeah,
I'm just like, okay, could I come up with a medical term for you then? I don't know why the defense mechanism just turned on automatically. And I was like, well, I would love to go get a second opinion about this. It really
yeah,
started to affect my work because I was like, okay, well, I can't create something now because I'm thinking like maybe, okay,
yeah,
something's wrong. That's all I get in my head. I'm a bad overthinker. Like I
yeah.
overthink a lot of stuff, analyze it. Like I'm like Doctor Strange almost. I see every end of possibility and I'm like so overwhelmed and I'm sitting there like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, like I said, when it comes to that one, it's
Mm.
scary when you hear that someone says multiple personalities to you. You're just
Yeah,
like, wait, hold up. You're talking about
right.
I mean, I have 10 different people living inside my brain at a time. And it's weird because some people that have that, they cycle through them. And in that study I was listening to, the girl said that her mom's two personalities, if they were to call, she's to not answer the call at all, or if she gets on the phone and it's one of those two, just to hang up right away because some of them were like dominant. It was weird though because she was like this little girl had to document 23 of them for her mom to get some help. And,
Wow.
and I know when it comes to that kind of stuff, you got to, it scares people because people are like, oh my God, am I crazy now? Because like so many different misinformations are out there about the stuff, and things
Yeah.
like that. So everybody thinks they're crazy when it comes to certain diagnosis things. And some of those things, especially that one, because that one's, you tell us to me that they're looking at you like, what? Hold
Yeah.
on. What do you
Yeah.
mean?
You're like, huh? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me write it down somewhere. She's doing this. I'm like,
Right.
okay. But when I got
Yes.
the second opinion, there was just like, nah, I don't really see that. I see
Yeah.
that, you're passionate in your work. I see that. So now, can you overly be obsessed with something? Absolutely. That's kind of what I do to bring out good content or good product or good work.
Yeah.
So let's take it all the way back to when I went to college. I was in college and in this English class this man gave out papers and he was like, well, that's right about a time where you the most happiest. Me being me, I stuck my hand up. I was like, hey, can I do something different? Can I write about a depressing time? He was like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. All right, so I go home, I'm like, okay, what do I write? I have a lot to write now, but where do I start? And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So I just put it all on the paper. I pour my heart into and soul into that paper, turned it in. He was looking for me that whole day while I went to school. He was like, well, I need to see Sprite. Like, where is she? Like, went to the student union everywhere looking for me. And when I finally did catch up with him, when we was in the yard, he was like, listen to me. Are you okay? I was like, I'm okay. He was like, this paper you wrote.
Yeah.
My God, where have you been? I'm gonna get you I'm gonna get you set up with some people. They need to see this. I'm like, okay, can I call my mom first? And I call my mom. She has my babies. Can I call her first? Because mind you, I have 2 kids at the time. They're small.
Yeah.
And I'm pressed for time. So I have to get home. I have to make dinner. I have to, get them bathed and washed. So can I call my mom first and make sure that I'm gonna be at school for extra hours? She's like, yeah. So I'm calling my mom. I'm explaining to her what happened. She's screaming hysterical on the phone. She's like, oh my God, my baby's about to be famous. I'm like, I don't think that's what he meant by that. But okay, we're rolling with it. So
right.
she got me all hyped up, but I didn't show it at first. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm chill. I'm like, okay, we're gonna see what's up. My best friend at the time, she was like, Sprite, what did you write? I said, remember that rough draft that I had on the table? She was like, you wrote that and turned that in? I was like, yes. She was like, oh my God, they're gonna think you're crazy. I'm like, but hey, but my time was a depressing time. I didn't want to write
Yeah.
about anything happy because I wasn't happy. I was depressed. Like I was really depressed. I was fighting demons. I was like, I'm a single mom living in with my kid's daddy, being tormented every day about his family. And my family were out of my reach. I
Yeah.
couldn't get to them. So I'm like, I'm stuck in a situation where it is just I'm surrounded by darkness all the time. I was forced to do things I didn't want to do a lot. And I was like, you know what? Let's just put it all on paper. Maybe somebody will save me. Just put
Yeah.
it all on paper. Maybe someone save me. And Sprite, you have to make the steps to save yourself and your babies if you feel like you're in danger of some type. And I was like, okay, cool. So I wrote a lot when I say with my kid's daddy, I wrote a lot. I dived into creating this web series. I was like, you know what? I have not seen a LBGT. Please do not do not send any hate mail to me if I got it all wrong. I never said
Yeah.
anything
No, I
right.
agree. It's hard now. It's like LGBTQ plus, I believe is what it is
Yeah,
now.
like stop adding letters for the dyslexia people, please. So yeah, I was like, nobody has never done this before. We don't see this. And
Yeah.
mind you, I'm not gay. What I'm saying, I wasn't gay, but I knew that people will gravitate to this. This is
Yeah.
something new. That's like, okay, cool. So I got me a team together and we sat there and I wrote, and all I did was write every day.
Yeah.
Mind you, write every day. Then I got into this dance group. And I'm gonna get back to that paper though. Then I got into the dance group and they were like, okay. And mind you, I was pop locking and dropping. And look at me now. I look like I can't do it, but I can get in the field. Thank you.
She's
I
like,
would bring
hold my beer,
okay.
girl. I got this. Hold on, I got this, girl. Don't worry.
Hey Pete, when that beat,
Yeah, my wife's the same
like
way too. She starts going, oh, I can't do that anymore. I used to be able to do this, and I just laugh. I'm like, okay, because I was so reserved. I was just like, all right, sure. She's
listen.
she was wild out, man.
I didn't even not know coming up, I did not know in middle school and high school that I was one of the popular kids. Cause
Yeah,
I did not know because I was that like, I don't do crowds. I don't do a lot of people, maybe one
yeah,
or two people around me and that's it. I didn't realize that everybody knew me just based off of my nickname. Everybody knew me, everybody knew my sister. And it just felt weird when people know you and they're like, hey, oh, I know
hmm
Sprite. And I'm like, what? You know me? He was like, yeah, you're cool. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. You never spoke to me while I was at school a day in your life. But
That's
now
the
that
same.
I'm older,
That's funny you say because that's the same way I am. When I went through a lot of these rooms and things, people start shouting my name, and it's like, and Ashley does that too. She's like, I was just talking about you. I'm like, oh yeah.
yes,
It still hits me when people say that to me, or like I get guys that come on and go, well, I've listened to your show before. And I'm like, you have? Really? Me? Huh? And it's it's a
Yeah.
lot of imposter syndrome that happens for me too. It's like, that's the same thing you're probably dealing with too. It was just
Mhm.
like people know who you are and you don't realize it. It was like, oh, okay, you know me? All right, cool.
Right. Like, what? Are you serious? Yes, you're serious. I'm like, okay. So for the longest, our names, by our names being nicknames, sodas, which
Yeah,
I'm pretty
okay,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you're Pepsi's sister. No, she's my sister. It doesn't matter who's the sister first. We just sisters. Stop saying it
Oh
like
no,
that.
I felt a little diva moment there for me. Like, wait,
You see?
hold up. The show is right
Right.
here. Sprite is right here, everybody. Okay, fuck it, fuck Pepsi. Pepsi's the second choice of the generation. It's Sprite. Okay, I was
Okay,
here
when you
first,
see Coke, you see Sprite, you do not see any Pepsi.
right?
She's gonna be like, really, really? We're like 30 something years old. You still doing it? Yes.
I was going to
It's
ask you that why your name's Sprite, but I mean, it makes sense now, though, because mine for a while before I switched mine to my podcast profile was serial killer. And God, if you ask me, like, oh, well, I'm a serial killer, I'm like, it's a movie reference, yeah, yuts,
yeah.
and it was a reference to the movie Hackers that came out that came out early on, and Angelina Jolie was in there, and a bunch of
Good
other people,
movie.
it's like Matthew Lillard and everybody was in there too. Well, Matthew Lillard's character was a serial killer. He was a kind of goofy guy and just real kind of
Yeah.
and I was like, I resonated best with him. So I used the name and everybody's like, oh, what does that mean? You kill on a cereal, huh? So I put a cereal bowl in the name and I was just laughing.
I like that one. I like that one. The people, they be too serious. I've been telling them stop taking it too seriously, please. But I get it.
Yeah, but think about it. Okay, so let's circle back to the letter real fast. All right. This
Yes.
brings up an interesting point, though. Think about it. You were telling your innermost thoughts, and they can't handle that conversation. And that proves it
Right.
right there that some of these conversations are tough for people to have.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
I'd like to tell you though, you're one of the 6 that have been chosen to do the suicide panel. By the way, we haven't figured out a date yet. Got to get that hammered out. But you are one of the 6 that got chosen. So congrats to that because it'll be an interesting conversation. But it brings you to that point of when it came to that, it's like I wonder if they already had a feeling that maybe that's where you were heading towards. Maybe they already knew, or some sense, or someone they knew had understood that maybe you had the idea ahead of time. And it's hard when it comes to that, though. Like I said, it's one of those harder ones to diagnose because it's so interesting of a case. Because I know I met a person on here before. She said that was one of the first cases she ever did when she got out of school, and she was like, let me be honest with you, probably shouldn't have been the first one I did in my first time ever, because it was interesting because
Yeah.
the person with cycled personalities, like they were telling you were doing, like switching through them like a carousel. So
Yeah. 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 When he going back to the letter, I mean the paper guys,
yeah,
when my professor seen that paper, he, like I said, the anxiousness he felt to get to me was like, I need to find her,
yeah,
because what she wrote was somebody crying out for help, somebody reaching out. Like,
yeah,
people don't know that I attempted, tried to, committed multiple times in that bathroom upstairs off of Blue Bonnet.
yeah,
I have a whole chapter in my thing that I'm writing called Blue Bonnet. And it's one for the books, man. Let my mama read the rough draft of Blue Bonnet. And when I tell you, Pete, I'm gonna send it to you, Pete.
I'll
And
read it for sure.
my mom was in tears. She was like, I had no idea you were going through this, Sprite. No
Yeah,
idea. I'm like, no, I thought I expressed this to you guys. Like, I would call my mom, Pete, and I would be crying to her. I'm like, what do you do with such and such such? She's like, Sprite, is this for your book, or this is for like real life? And I'm like, this is real life, mom. What do I do? Like, mountain, sometimes I would have to call her, pick up the phone. I need help. I think I'm going to jail, or I don't know what's about to happen. I need help. Like that,
yeah,
living in that. When people say you live in torment, that's living in torment.
yeah,
That was living in torment. I didn't understand that. Me being who I am, young as I was, dipping off into a relationship with this guy I didn't know anything about. Um, you I had to switch out and switch in. I
yeah,
had to create these people in my head for safety reasons, because if I did not, I would have been, you know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to you today. Like I said, I'll give you a moment where I was in the bathroom one day. I just couldn't take it. I was like, you know what? And I love knives, by the way. Obsessed with knives and swords. Thank you, brother, if you're listening. Sitting in there one day and it had been bad. We got into this bad argument. And I'm like, okay, Sprite, what do you do? So I'm praying and I'm like, okay, Jesus, please help me. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. I don't know
Yeah.
why this man wants to put his hands on me. I do not know. But I am not that woman that allows this type of crap. I don't do it. And
Yeah.
then I don't know. He busts through the door. He managed to get in the bathroom where I was at, and he just would not stop hitting me. Not just pow, 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 pow. I'm sitting there, I'm taking every hit. Within every hit I'm taking, I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Sprite, come on, get up. You girl, you were the bully in high school. I don't understand what's going on here. Like trying to talk to myself, having a whole out of body experience, like let's get you have babies. So when I
Yeah.
see my daughter get up and come past that hallway and she's crying and she's screaming, I said, okay, I have to get up. But he did not know moments before he walked in that bathroom, I was getting ready to say, okay, bye. I didn't.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, Pete. I sat there and I wrote out my whole funeral arrangements for about a week and a half on how I wanted everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boom,
It's serious. Like
boom.
I said, a lot of people don't like to have that conversation though. It's tough,
Yeah.
man. Like you
And
were closer than people realize, just that
yep,
statement alone, because you've
I was
already had it
like
planned.
there. I was right there. Like I had it like right, and not to get graphic, I was literally like right there with it. And
No, that's
oh, here come the dough. Boom, 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 boom. All you doing is boom, 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 boom. And I just, I don't know, something about when a mama sees her baby crying, something like mama bear sees their baby crying, or whatever species sees their baby crying. I said, hell no, I got it. What am I doing? This is stupid. I will leave them with him. I can't do that. I
yeah.
would literally leave them with someone if that beats on their mom. I cannot do that. That's not a life I want my kids to have. You know, I don't want to cause any more trauma. It's time to stop. It's time to get up. So, meaning that other personality that she was saying, who I call Latricia, by the way. Um, Latricia said, "Get up. You're somebody's mama. You're someone's mom. Get up. Let's go." So I got up and I put my hands back on, you know, just enough so I can get out.
Yeah.
So I grabbed my kids. I grabbed both of them. I didn't grab anything else. I grabbed my phone. Everything was on me, and I'm going down the steps. I said, enough is enough. And I left Bluebonnet that day. I did not return. I left. Now, mind you, I'm outside crying. I'm calling this guy that I loved at the time, didn't know that I loved him like that. And he's
Yeah.
like, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to go in? You want me to whoop? You want me to beat him up? What you want me to do? I'm like, no, just get me away from here. I had the hardest conversation with my mama the next day. And then that's when my professor called me. I don't know what it was. He called me. He was like, are you okay? I just got something in my spirit. Are you okay, Sprite? I'm like, I'm okay now that I'm away from over here. I'm okay now. So, uh,
No, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, let's cover something really quick here when it comes to the idea. Okay, so I have some things I've written down here. Okay, so the myth: people with DAD have multiple personalities. Okay, so the fact is actually the term multiple personality disorder is misleading. The alternatives are not separate personalities, but fragment parts of one individual. You know, and it's interesting because when it comes to that, you know, people think that you have like 10 different personalities, you know, and if we go to movies, Split kind of made it seem like this guy had 23 different personalities, but really it was
yeah,
just different things, you
that was a
know.
good movie, by the way. That
You
was,
but you know what I'm saying though, it's probably the best one to do the
yeah.
reference, and I'm sure there's better references out there, but it's the one that probably a lot of people remember the most. I mean,
Well,
there's a lot of really good ones.
let me say this from experience. His was spot on.
Yeah.
For those that are out there, they're saying that that's not true. Stop it. I encourage you to seek out help. And what he did was very spot on.
Yeah.
Very spot on. I'm telling you, it was spot on. So for people that are scared to come out and say, hey, I suffer with this too, stop.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't have
That's
to do
awesome.
that. Right. Just if you like that, as long as I feel like as long as it's not harmful, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, I'll dive into like if I feel myself switching in and out, I'll come back and I'll dive into something that I know that'll bring me back. Well,
Yeah.
then again, I have an 8-year-old that keeps me on my toes. I have no choice but to switch back to react. You know what? What did you do? Huh? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I gotta. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna fix it. You know, she brings she brings me back to reality almost. So
Yeah.
when I did get my second opinion, I was like, yeah. And the person who gave me the second opinion was like, no, Mr. Armstead, they were correct. But it's not dangerous. It's just now that this fix this hopefully this would fix some of your issues that you have throughout your life. But
Yeah.
back to that paper. I love you too, Ashley. That paper that I wrote, the art professor at the time, I forgot his name. I just know he has silver white hair. And he was like, I want you to add my class to your schedule. And I was like, okay. And the lady from the theater department, she came in, she was like, do you mind if I take this and make like a small play out of this? Do you mind? Of course you will start in a production, Sprite, but do you mind if I do it? I'm looking at her, are you serious? You want to take my work? Like, you want to take my paper and do that? Are you serious? Just like I'm serious. I'm like, hi, okay. So I would go to I added his acting class to my thing, to my schedule. I handed off my paper to her and she got to work. Later that year, um, the play was called Blue Bonnet. It was called Blue Bonnet. And when I tell you that play had everybody and their mama and their grandma sitting in that seat. Every time they would present plays, my play would be the first one. It's literally dedicated to me. Um, I'm sorry. It's just
No, you're good.
I still talk to these people to this day. And they're like, so what are you cooking up? I know you cooking something up, Sprite. I'm like, I was when I fell into the babysitters group, I'm like, these 6 women that were in this group, including myself, adding to be 6. I was like, okay, there are different women in this group. I said, okay, well, they all have different lives. And just to hear how different their lives was from mine and what all they went through and stuff like that, I got to writing stuff down. I was like, okay, cool. Let me write this down. And
Yeah.
off to I sent it off to my English major, still to this day. He doesn't teach anymore, but still to this day, I sent it. He said, Spark, you have something there. He said, keep going. I said, okay. Um, I'm
Now is
sorry,
the
y'all.
now is the book can be called Blue Bonnet? Is that what you're calling it?
No, just that chapter is called Blue Bonnet.
Do you have a title
The
for the book yet?
no, I do not.
Are
I
you
figure maybe because I'm still writing it. I'm still
Yeah,
writing it.
is it more like a memoir type thing? Because I've read a couple of
Yeah.
those already, and I love them. They're great. I read one about breast cancer for a woman named
Ooh, I would love
Erica
to.
Newbert. It's called the mastectomy I've always wanted, and it's basically she had a double mastectomy during this thing, and it was her journey through breast cancer and things like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could
Yeah.
probably write one from the perspective of DID, just give people a better understanding because it's like we all know it is multiple personality disorder, but when you meet people with it, it's a whole nother ball game because then you could see what it's like when someone has it.
Yes. That gave me a good idea too, Pete. Hmm.
Just think about it. Your
Um,
story, someone's going to see this story and they're going to say, damn, Sprite, I resonate with that, and it just takes the one person to figure that out. And that's it. You've won the battle already because they'll tell 5 people and after that, and all that kind of stuff too. So,
yeah. Oh, Pete, you put something on my heart. I appreciate you.
no problem.
Um, I ain't never think of it. Wow. I ain't never think of it like that. I guess I could, but there's different chapters. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
let me just say this. Chapter Bluebonnet, y'all not gonna like me very much. Not gonna like me very much coming into chapter Bluebonnet because I did a lot of things, a lot of unnecessary things I've done.
Don't apologize. You did
That
what you had to do.
that led
Listen,
up to that. But after that, y'all gonna fall back in love with me again. After that, y'all gonna fall back and like, yeah, I like her now. She changed and everything. Because when I got to, you gotta understand, my daddy was a
Yeah.
military Pete, and he would think that he would still be in military mode with
Mm-hmm.
us. So picture us, and it's all together. It was 9 of us. My
Yeah.
sister passed away. Lord God rest her soul. I love her. She was the meanest thing in the world. She softened up around her edges though a little bit once I had Abby, but
Yeah.
it was 9 of us, and we had to be up on side of the bed every morning at 4:30 like this. We had to say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. We had to know the Bible like the back of our hands because my daddy was an ordained pastor, and I was just like, oh my God, this is not the life I want. Like this is crazy. Like he would hit her, like wow, hit us for just if you didn't say something right, we got hit. If that floor was not scrubbed, we got hit. We just got hit for a lot of things, like ooh, a lot. Ooh, so I was just picture me at being 10 or 11 years old outside cutting grass with no shoes on, all out in the field with my dad because he loved being outside. Like you have to learn how to do everything outside. And then they had a lawn care business, so that's how they made their money is by cutting grass. So I wanted to be outside. Even though I learned how to be inside, I learned the duties of what a wife's supposed to be doing and what the girl's supposed to be doing. I want to be outside. Put
Yeah.
me outside. I want to go outside. I done already cleaned up, made my bed, sir. Dad, can I go outside? And he was like, you want to go outside? Yeah. You go outside, let's cut the grass. I said, okay, I don't have a problem cutting the grass. You ain't said nothing. As long as I get to go outside, I'm good. Yeah. So I will be outside.
Yeah.
I think that's where my structure came from was my dad because he would have like it will be you guys have to have a routine schedule. Y'all know y'all supposed to get up at this time. You know, you're supposed to do this at this time. You know, you're supposed to do that at that time. Beds made, all that type of stuff. So that's where I got my structure from. But I don't do my kids that at all. I don't feel like if they got something wrong that you should take your hand and spread it 5 and shebang. I don't feel like that.
Yeah.
Mostly, you should just talk to them, you know, because they don't know. You got to understand, they've been brought here. They don't know how they got here. Then you have to train them and raise them up as your kid. Like, hey, you're here in the world. This is what you're supposed to do. These are the do's and these are the don'ts.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey,
what's going on?
fun fact by the way, kids as young as 4 actually understand completely what you're saying to them. They may not be able to tell you, but they do understand.
My 8-year-old shocked me. I was so shocked by how much she learned by watching me. And I was
Mm-hmm.
scared. I was like, oh, don't. She was like, yes, mom, I don't know. I know how to get in here. And I was like, I'm like, you know how to do what? She was like, well, if you add this and add that to the bill, you could save you some money.
That's a smart little girl right there.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So the extra money I'm taking for the gum or candy or sweets, whatever, I can divide that by 3 and then we can have this so you can get some shoes. She was like, yeah. And if you add more with that, and I'm like, all right, that's too much. That's too much. Don't spook me. Don't spook me no more than I'm already in. But
Right? It's amazing kids at that age what they can do. It's crazy.
yeah,
I have a 4-year-old daughter. She, we got by marriage, and she'll amaze you. This little girl knows a lot more than she tells people. Like everybody else says, oh, they don't know. Oh, this girl, she knows. She knows how to work the system. She knows what she's doing.
it's
Like
so
she'll pay
scary,
attention.
Pete.
She'll watch you and things like that. She's a smart
Mm-hmm.
little girl. She knows what's up. And it's interesting because me and her hang out all the time. And I'm watching her, and she does some
Oh,
really interesting things. So when she comes and stays with me and everything, she'll ask where I'm at. She's like, "Oh, where's Peter at?" All the time is what she'll say when I'm not home and things like that. Because me and her hang out all the time. Because when her mom has to go to work, she's home with me, and we're usually just doing whatever. And I'm always paying attention to her, but she's always saying something, but you don't know what she's saying because her speech hasn't developed all the way yet. But she's a bright little girl though. For 4 years
yeah,
old, this kid will amaze you. She
yeah.
she can she walks that helps me walk the dogs and everything too. So she'll take the dog and
Oh,
she was like if we're walking on the street and a car comes down the side street we're at, she's like, okay, car, and goes over there to the other side because her mom is a dog trainer. So her mom is showing her how to handle all that kind of stuff. So she remembers all this stuff. She goes over the side. She'll say dog and a car, and she'll go to the side of the road to get away from the cars and stuff like that. So it's interesting though, because my 15-year-old though, you should see some of the artistic talent this kid has. This kid draws rivals a lot of comic book drawers now, man. A lot of characters she's in. It's interesting to watch them, and especially with your daughter, numbers, man. Sounds like numbers are going to be your thing. Because my brother, he was taking college level courses in his freshman year of high school.
Wow.
So it's interesting what these kids pick up so fast. But yes, they do watch. You made a really good point. They do watch everything you do.
Yeah, they do. They do. Like, I didn't know she knew how to get, like, okay, so she has this tablet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have cameras in our home because someone tried to break in our home.
Yeah.
If you're watching, sir, I really prayed for you that night.
That's all you can do. Listen, that's all you can do. You can always hope for the best.
Pete, I was so scared in here, man. I was so scared. Oh,
yeah,
man,
scary.
I was so scared.
I've been robbed at gunpoint before. I noticed. Like I got robbed at gunpoint before. When I got robbed, I had two people with the gun to my head and gun to my chest, and the third guy was over there doing something else. I don't know what, he was real panicky, but yeah, I've been robbed at gunpoint before.
No, Pete, no. See, I ain't never been robbed because, okay, well, I'll tell y'all what happened to me. Okay, so by me being in this dance group, we went like downtown where you can dance like at the levee. Like Baton Rouge has a levee where it has Baton Rouge, and it's like the Mississippi River right here. And they have like the casino on the boat. I don't know why. As young we were stupid. Okay, we went down there and they're gonna be mad for me, but I don't care because I get to know why were we doing that, Jared? Why was we doing that? We went there and we started dancing or whatever. So after that, we danced for about an hour and took some great shots and filmed and stuff. We were sliding down the letter B, but they had water right here. Right, there was a Mississippi River, and Jared would be standing down right at the end of the B to catch us. Now, when you look at me, I'm a heavy set type of girl, okay? And I'm just looking at him. I don't think you're going to catch me. And if you let me fall into this water, I'm coming back to hunt you all if I can't get out. It's like, come on, let's try it. And I'm like, nope, we're not doing it. And I don't know what told me, just do it. And I just slid down and almost fell into that water, Pete.
She's like, almost had to beat him.
I just was like, if you did not catch me that day, he was like, I almost fell back. And I was like, well, I'm glad you didn't, because if you did, we did. My point I'm making is that we do all kind of crazy things, but impulsiveness. So I was very impulsive coming up. So my daughter didn't steal it. It wasn't better than her. So when I keep saying, I don't know where she gets it from. She probably gets it from her dad. No, now that I'm thinking back on the days that I did stuff without thinking, yeah, she gets it from her mom. That is wild. But what I was making my point about the tablet, she has a tablet on there. We have cameras in the home, and we have this app to where you can go shut the Wi-Fi off, or you can shut the cameras off. And lately she's been, sneaking that tablet in her room, and she will watch me the whole time we were in here. Like last night, we supposed to be watching Snow White, the original one. We in here watching it, I'm high five, I'm all in it, because that was my time growing up, my Disney princess. And she's over here like, really? We're gonna wait till she falls asleep so I can go in there and get some cupcakes. And I'm listening to her. She doesn't know I'm listening to her. And she has this whole master plan with her sister in here. She's like, yeah, we're going to get up around this time and watch it, mama. Literally with the tablet in her hand like this. Yeah, I'm waiting. Yeah. And I'm thinking she watching the movie the whole time, and I drifted off to sleep. And something told me to just open one eye. This is me, Pete. She's turning the cameras off. And comes around the table, goes into the refrigerator, gets her cupcakes. Come back around, clicks back on the cameras, go back in the room. I ain't tell her nothing, Pete. I ain't say nothing. But it was just like, wow, I didn't teach you how to do that. I didn't teach her how to do that. Like, what is going
Oh my
on?
god. Some Mission Impossible type stuff going on.
I ain't gonna tell you our last apartment how she hopped and did a whole ninja jump. Like the way our apartment was, she thought I was sleeping on the couch, but I slept right there just so I could catch her in the moment. Like she did, I don't know, she flipped and jumped and rolled and got on top of the refrigerator and she said a couple of things. She was like, I think that, I don't know if I could say this, but she was like, I think that hoe sleep. She said it real loud for me to hear. And I'm
Oh
on the
my
couch
god,
like,
no.
this hoe ain't sleep. Oh, what she calling me a hoe? Oh my goodness. And then she jumped down and flipped and rolled like Spy Kids.
Oh my god.
Okay. Got whatever sweet she wanted, tucked, ducked, and rolled and went in the back. And I asked her about it. I watched the cameras. I was like, did you happen to come in here at night, Mom? She was like, no, ma'am. Well, um, I probably have to tell you something later on. And you're not gonna like it. And I'm like, okay. All right. But what hoe you was talking about last night? She's like,
That's what I'm saying.
huh? She was like, what are you talking about, Mom? I said, yeah, you said something about a hoe. You were in the front? Yes. I'm everywhere. I'm here to let you know you can't do nothing
Oh,
without me, baby.
no. Remember when we were kids, our mom used to tell us they have eyes in the back of their head? My mom used to say, I got eyes in the back of my head. I can see what you're doing. I'm like, oh, yeah?
Yes.
And for
I was
some
very
reason,
scared
that
of that.
intuition that she knew that you were doing something. So you always try to we always take turns trying to make faces at her. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
trying to irritate her because you're trying to see who can get her first, and she's just like, gets so mad and
Yes.
she just reaches back and like she used to tell me that my grandmother used to say that my grandmother gets so drunk when they're all drinking together, these stories start coming out. I never hit you when I was a kid, and my grandmother's back there swinging the arm in the back room, backseat of the car, and so they're like, we're drunken and dubbing like this, and I'm like, so my mom, I had told my kids that my mom, I said, your grandma used to whip my ass all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
my kids were like, my mom's like, I never did any of that stuff. Lies. All lies. Because I was there when you beat the living tar out of me one time. Like I'm talking like she gangland stomped the hell out of me
Yeah.
one time. Like
Yeah.
she was beating the tar out of me. And she's like, I never did that. Your dad's just making up stories. Yeah, because I'm the crazy one that was imagining you stomping on me like you're trying to put out a
Okay.
fire somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's like I remember these things,
Yeah.
and it's just like my parents all the time would argue all the time like that too, man. And they just go at it about the craziest things. Like she just kept going, and then my dad get pissed off because it was like she almost like she had set him off, because she knew how to feel
Yeah.
the fire and just got him pissed off and everything like that. And it's funny because my ex used to do that to me too. And in case anybody hasn't seen last week's episode, go watch that one. That one got real intense real quick between me and Darla. I had a few people comment they had watched it and only made it about 30 minutes in. We're like, yeah, I had to turn it off. This was hitting hard.
Well,
Yeah.
most definitely gonna go watch it, Pete. Yeah. When I
Yeah.
first got wind of you in Ashley's room, I was like, man, Pete's cool. He sounds like he's a cool guy. Sounds like a lot of things have happened to Pete too.
Yeah.
And then when I heard you had a podcast, I was like, I got
Right.
to listen to how you explain things and how you know things is I'm very intrigued. So I was like, yeah, Pete's gonna be cool, man. Man, we can go all day long talking with Pete, man. I feel like that's a great fit. Um, yeah, parents lie. When I asked my mom how we used to get hit back in the day, she just looks at us. We ain't never got hit like that.
Exactly. Right. There you
Really?
go.
I have a mark for life on me. When my dad took a pic, let me see if I can get it correctly on let's see, here we go. If you can see it.
Yeah.
See how thick that is?
Yeah.
That was a piece of wood.
Mm-hmm.
He whipped me with that day because I told my brother to take the trash out. And I got hit with that. And I had my shoulder, left, right, my right shoulder rotator cuff damaged by that, like almost out of place because I would hold myself like this away and I couldn't lift my arm up for about a week and a half after that. And I'm just like in ooh ah. And I encourage parents, my message to you is don't let the anger get the best of you while you're disciplining your kid.
Yeah.
Like you discipline them, you could be upset, but once you pass that mark of you being angry, angry, like you physically want to do harm, step back, count to 10, and it's going to be the hardest 10 seconds of your life. But it's something you need to do because been watching a lot of videos and seeing a lot of things where these parents are letting the anger get the best of them. Like oh my God, that child. What was that story that they had the child, where the mom whipped the child with the extension cord and he passed away?
I don't know. I don't know if I know that one.
Yeah, I just so happens, I don't know. People send me a lot of stuff to read,
Yeah.
and a lot of stuff to watch, and they love to hear your opinion on stuff. First, let me say this: I did not know people would make shows and do podcasts off just based off of people want to hear your perspective on things. And I was like, okay, cool. Because initially I was supposed to start a podcast myself, Pete. It was called Just a Thought, but
You should do it.
It was in production, but the people I wanted to do it with, they stole some of the material that I had and they made a podcast out of it and it's successful to this day. And I'm just like, I don't know who I can trust.
Yeah, I get that.
So my best friend Madison at the time, and still now the one that was asking you about the link.
Yeah.
I keep all my secrets with her now.
Yeah.
I don't share them out with, and of course with Ashley. But anything that's new, like the babysitters thing, nobody knew that I was working on that. Still, probably now y'all know. I just keep it to myself before I, people like to steal things and stuff like that.
I had a person that, you see, when it comes to co-hosts, it's hard. Okay, so I had a podcast prior to this one called Pete's Corner Store. If y'all want to listen to it, it's still floating around out there. I apologize ahead of time because some of the subjects we talked about were not probably the most appropriate. So heads up before y'all listen to that one.
Those be the good ones.
It got interesting really fast. Okay, so I brought her in season 2. It was a friend of mine. We're still friends to this day, and everything else like that. And they basically. I started hijacking the show somewhat. And I didn't notice it at first because no one told me. And then everybody told me the same thing after I ended the whole thing. Hey, I didn't like your co-host because they just felt like they dominate the conversation and things like that. And I'm like, well, thanks for telling me now. Could have told me then.
Like, why nobody spoke up?
Exactly. That's what I was saying. And like they're like, and then she brought in a third person and it was just like, it was harder because, you had another conflicting personality and all I was trying to get these guys to do is stay on one page and they all were like doing their own things. And then one of them said something that upset my wife. And then she was like, I told her, I said, hey, you can't talk about these things. Like this is a little too extreme, and things like that. Yeah. And we had some interesting conversations. I'll tell you that much, but I get that. So when I started this one, this is strictly a solo project. And a lot of people try to jump on and be my co-host and things like that. When they say those words, I get nervous. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Who will be your co-host? No.
Yeah, see, see, that's the same thing I'm thinking too. The same way you were thinking about it. Because I'm like, And it's hard because people don't take rejection well. They're like, no. And, and I have that problem sometimes too with some things. I just don't like, it's just a thing I deal with, here. But it was like when they said that, it just gave me so much. Start stressing out. And I'm like, fuck, I gotta tell them no because I'm like, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. But after a while, I was just like, fucking no. This is a solo project. When I started this show, I told my wife, told me I need to make sure I agreed that it was a solo project strictly because she was listening to all the other stuff we were talking about. She's like, you can't be doing other shit, especially if you're to get into this stuff. You got to be careful because you got to be careful and make sure you're not making a mockery of this because these are things people deal with every day.
Right.
And my general interest is just because I'm just curious, honestly. So, and that's why I started doing this. Is at first it was more of the, kind of the search for knowledge. I wanted to know more. So I invited people to come on the show early on. Some of the guests were kind of like, I didn't know much, so, and as it went further, I ran into a woman named Stephanie Aycock. If you guys haven't watched that episode, go watch that. One's a good one too. She has a movie called Bloom she's making. It's about mental health awareness.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And she's working to get it funded right now. And Stephanie and I had an interesting conversation. And when it came to suicide, she and I had both had the same thoughts, is that it was like looking over the edge and you're looking, but she literally was doing it because I think she said she was in Hawaii, if I remember right, when we were talking about it. And me and her still talk to this day. and things like that. So she and I mention all the time. Every time I mention it on the show, I tell her, hey, another episode, I mention it again. She just laughs every time. She's like, oh my God, really? I'm like, yeah. So we got into an interesting conversation about that, and it was interesting to hear her perspective, because it was like, damn, like after her, it was like things started changing. She suggested, hey, why don't you try this site that you're on? Where I'm now, where I get a lot of these other experts I get come on and things like that. And I've had interesting conversations ever since then. I mean, there's another one if you guys want to watch the self-talk one. The negative self-talk is an interesting conversation me and Betsy Holmberg have. And like we go back and forth. We're going back and forth for an hour straight. Now we probably could have continued going, and it's great because when it comes to this stuff, there's so much to know, and it's interesting because you meet different people as you go. And a lot of these people I still talk to, and with Mental Health Awareness Month coming up, actually, I don't know if I told anybody yet, but my Humanity 2.0, which is a video that you've all seen, it's like, what does humanity mean to you? That podcast I did is actually going to come out that month. I think she said it's going to kick off the month. I'll have to double check all the details, but I believe she said it's going to kick off the month. My episode's going to be the main episode that starts the whole thing up for that month. So I'll let y'all know when it comes out and everything. But there are a couple other ones I've done so far. There's the one they did for the Podcasters Nation. Good friend Rory. He's actually going to be on the show here come next month. Or no, I think he's in June. Because I'm only up to June now. It's so hard to tell what dates I'm on now. I think he's in June and things like that. Emotionally Unavailable is another one I did with Melissa Helper. She was really cool. She's going to be on the show later on this year too, and things like that. So it's like, it's always an interesting opportunity. Every time you hit click, man, you never know what you're going to find out with people. Just like you never know. No, I guarantee no one saw it coming. Oh, well, I have DID, and you're just like, whoa, hold up, here we go. Because you don't know what to, we've had some crazy moments on this show for the beginning of the year already. If you all want to see the oh shit moment of the year, go look at Brian DeCasio's episode. 30 minutes in, whoo boy, let me tell you, girl, that turned the heater up. He's like, oh,
definitely is, yeah.
He said, let's turn that heat up high, man. And it's not to make fun of him and all. It gets interesting because Brian brings up an interesting point in the conversation where he just starts talking about how he said that morning. Pete goes, hey Pete, this morning, I was sitting at the edge of bed and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm thinking the whole time. My mind says like, oh, fuck, here we go. What is this guy going to say? Because I don't know what these people are going to say because I don't pre-read. Some people I check at a time. Other people I'm like, you want to come tell your story. But Brian happened to be a guy that's working on an app for kids as young as kindergarten to try and help them regulate their emotions. That way, turn it on, they can, things like that. It's like 15 minutes a day. Well, Brian told us 30 minutes into this episode that he had thought about killing himself that morning. He had the gun in his hand. He's sitting on the edge of the bed, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh no, what is going on, man? It's like, oh man, my heart stopped for a minute because I'm like, I never ran into this situation. Knowing that I'm getting into this area, these kind of conversations are going to happen. Yeah, and that's what started fueling the thoughts about, maybe we should do a panel. Then I did the Holocaust survivor panel with Benjamin Lesser. And I was like, man, we should do one too. I think this would be interesting. Maybe we get 6 people together and, things like that and see what it gets said. Well, actually, one of them that's going to be there is actually been on the show before, Dr. Kristen. She's actually been on the show before. And her and we had a great conversation too. So she's going to join us. So the idea for these panels going forward, if anybody wants to be a part of these things, I have some other people lined up. I do have one for men's mental health lined up too. I think because you were my guest on Friday this past week. I just did an episode with she and I were discussing. She said, "Hey Pete, I got some male colleagues you should talk to. They'd be great for the panel." I was like, "Well, hell, let's have them on the show too. Why not? Let's let people know who they are ahead of time, and that way we get a better idea. We can interview them ahead of time, get them. That way people know who these guys are that I'm bringing into the conversation."
So me starting my podcast back in the day was called Just a Thought. It was called Just a Thought. And it started on Facebook where you can come and just, express your thoughts or, if you just had a thought about something, you could come up there and express freely about something like that. I thought that maybe that would help the people that are around me, get whatever their feelings out. Because a lot of times when you make friends or if you around a certain group, they don't tell you everything you're supposed to know. They don't sometimes they don't feel like, okay, this is not a safe space for me to vent or open up a talk.
Yeah.
Which I have recently experienced. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna go to Facebook and I'm gonna, create this thing where people could come and share their thoughts or whatever the case may be. And it was hot for a minute, Pete. It was. I ain't gonna lie. Everything was good. but then it got messy. And I'm like, that's not why I put this up here. And then you can see maybe like half of the group turn on me. They were like, you're being messy. You're keeping this going. I was like, yeah, I didn't, I didn't per se say the words to come out of my mouth. Am I watching closely to make sure like nothing has really been put in here to harm anybody? Absolutely. And I'm sure Facebook is too. So I said, okay, I'm gonna scrap that idea, and then I'm actually go get the microphone, and I'm gonna really do a podcast. When I got my first apartment before I moved over here, mind you, that was the first achievement that I thought that was grand to me. Like, okay, so I got this job at Jack in the Box, and everywhere I go, my personality tends to come out. Well, everybody, whoever. And they're like, we like this girl, but the stress came along with the job and everything. But I stayed on the job as long as I could. So I'm fighting, like I have 2 kids. I'm trying, it's time for me to do 3 kids at the time. It's time for me to do something. So I stayed long at that job. A lot of things has happened to me on that job. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try this podcast thing again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it again. Now that I've got my own place, stuff like that, and the guy that I was talking to at the time, he was like, "You should just start a podcast again." I was like, "You're right, I am." So I had all the setup and everything, and I will be doing it at my table, which I am right now, sitting at my table, and I will, invite people to come in and stuff like that. And I had this one guest uh, to come in, and it was right around 420, the day after, couple of days after 420. Shout out to 420. He came in, and we were setting some stuff up, and I don't know what it is. The whole vibe was off. It was off. Thank God I had my kids to go with my mom, but it was off, Pete. We sitting up, he's sitting across from me. I could just feel like something is wrong. I take a sip of my coffee. I do my intro. I said, "Are you ready?" Before I hit play, he was like, "Yes." I ain't like the way he said yes either. And the moment that we hit recording, it wasn't live at the time, but we were pre-recording stuff. And I hit record. He instantly takes my mic, grabs the mic from where we sitting at, snatches off, and he's whooping my ass. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know what I did. I don't know if I said something wrong or what happened. I just know he started hitting me, like beating me.
Yeah.
And the best friend I had at the time, and when I didn't check in with her, she came over. Thank God she did come over. This man had me on the ground, like choking the life out of me.
Jesus.
And I'm up here like, am I about to go out, Jesus? Looking at this couch that my mama got from the Goodwill that was only like $12. I don't know why at the wrong times I'm thinking stuff that has nothing to do with the situation. And she comes in, she's screaming and hollering and stuff like that. He never lets go. He is destined. We're about to end, like, we about to get you up out of here, Sprite. And I'm just like, in my head, like, I don't do anything. Like, what's going on? And at a moment, I was like, okay, maybe it's time for me to let go. I could feel like my body getting lighter. I could feel like just me losing, like me leaving,
Yeah.
me leaving. And she managed to get him off of me. I'm still laying there like, what did I do? What did I say? And once everything, we called the police and everybody came. And a week later, I did not know that he was a part in that first podcast group that I had that was on Facebook, and he was being bullied. I didn't know. I didn't know they were talking about him in that group, but by me creating that space for people, he felt some type of way. He felt like I was orchestrating it or something. I
Yeah.
didn't I clearly you could see me saying, "Hey, this is not what this is about. We're gonna have to switch some things up. Um, this is not cool." I will always go in and encourage people not to talk crazy or whatever the case may be. I don't know if he's seen that or not. I don't know if he thought that wasn't enough. But all I know was I was getting ready to see Jesus that day. And for a moment I said, you know what, I'm gonna let go. I can't do it no more. Like maybe it is time for me to let go.
Yeah.
And I don't know. She got him off of me. I don't know how she got him off of me. She got him off of me. And then I just felt everything started to come back to me. Like started to have like movement in my arms and stuff like that. And I just lay there crying, like, what did I do?
Yeah.
What did I say? How could I help? It wasn't me. And then I went back to Facebook to look into that group and I printed out everything because I wanted to go back to see if I could have said something different, if I could have said something more than that. Like, what could I have done? And even though he was not mentally stable, which he wasn't, he suffered with what is that? Not only depression, it was something else. It was bad. When I look it up, I wrote it down. And I'm gonna send it to you what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I didn't see the warning signs. I didn't see the warning signs. I didn't see none of that. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, this is my friend. We're doing this podcast again. And maybe I need to stop calling that F word around, saying the F word around.
Hmm.
Just like for the past, the babysitters thing. Like here we are with these five group of women that have came into my life. I'm thinking that it's going to be all good, that we're safe, we can talk, we can do all the things together, and come to find out we can't. The moment that I show that my authentic self, people take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
You're taking me getting upset the wrong way. Even though I was told that these two women are like me, I would have never just X'd out a friend that fast. I would have never done that. So what I'm saying, the point that I was trying to make was, um, when you had said that guy was trying to, you didn't know that he was trying to off himself
Yeah,
beginning before
you
he
can
did
say
that.
you can speak freely. Honestly, it's
Okay,
okay. We're
I
talking
didn't
from an
know if he, I didn't
educational.
know if
Yeah,
he,
we're
yeah,
talking
I
from
didn't
an
know if he,
educational
okay.
standpoint. We're having a real conversation. I mean,
Yeah,
it's different. We're not telling people to do things. We're not, none of that stuff's happening. So yeah, you can say the word. It ain't gonna hurt nobody. We're on
okay,
YouTube. Facebook
okay,
so far
great.
hasn't had any problems with talking about the kind of stuff. But I mean, it's just it's interesting though when you bring other people together. It's just tough, and it's just I don't know what got said that upset somebody or whatever. It's just
Yeah,
you never know. Some things you say may just upset somebody, and some things you say could just trigger people, And a lot of people aren't ready for those real conversations. And when things get said, it's like, hold on, because here we go, And I was that type of person before, and I still have
yeah,
that problem here and there where I got to be reminded, say, hey, listen, you're this person, so you have to make sure you keep it oriented to that.
yeah,
So it's like, okay, makes sense, and it's hard. It's hard. I deal with a lot of shit that I don't talk to people about. I don't tell people a lot of things I dealt with, and things like that. There's some days that none of y'all would even know how bad my depression's hitting. I get up, I record this show, and I look like I'm just fine, but I mask all the time. I don't tell people about it
yeah.
because I just don't know.
Yeah,
Because some people can't handle the realism of the conversation and things like that.
yes,
And
yes,
maybe you and some of those individuals that don't get along completely, you probably have some similar traits to each other. I don't know. Just
yes. Hey, I was told that too. I was told that too. Like I was like, they act just like you, Sprite. And I'm like,
AP says hi, by the way.
who's AP? Hi,
Somebody's coming.
AP.
Somebody said hi.
But yeah, like I was scared. I was like, I'm not doing another podcast. If this what
Yeah.
happens by me doing podcast, I ain't never doing one. But the one that I started in my last apartment was becoming a hit. It was becoming something good. And I got in touch with an old friend of mine that I went to college with. And they was like, okay, so you want to really do this? We could put this in production. We can start you up. I got you. And I was like, okay, but I just almost died. I don't know if that's a good idea. And I was like, yeah, no, we can do it. We can do it. And I'm like, okay, cool. And once I got in, recorded everything I need to do, and it started to become a name for itself, they ran off with everything. They put another girl in. They said that I was too aggressive. They did not they
Yeah,
said
of
that my
course.
voice didn't read well over the microphone. It was like a whole bunch of tomfoolery that they had going on. And I was like, you know what? Maybe it's just not in the cards for me. Maybe I need to be somebody's guest first, or maybe I just, start baby steps, or first of all, let me go ask God what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not it. Maybe this is not it. Too many traumatic experiences when I do podcasts, or let alone if I'm working on a project, somebody comes and steal it. Like, I don't understand that. We can all share. We can all share. You don't have to steal.
Well, I mean, think about how many different podcasts all fall in the same category, though. A lot of them all, it's the host that makes the difference. So, I mean, yeah, they may
Yes.
have the same thing, but they don't have your personality. That's the different thing you have to
Yes.
remember. You know, it's
Yes.
Sprite. They don't have Sprite's personality. They could have somebody else and claim a bunch of other things. I mean, people want to believe
Yeah.
it, they're going to believe it regardless. I mean, it's just how it's
Yeah.
going to go, you know, but it's just what it is, you know, and at the end of the day, it's Sprite's podcast and anybody
Yeah.
else's, you know.
To the girl who they cast over me, not to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I wish you nothing but success. But if you're gonna mimic me, I'm gonna need for you to come and get you some homework done. Let's go. Come on. I'm offering you some homework. Come get you some
Shots.
homework done. Come get some more. You need a little bit of work. I have elevated.
So
Let's
tell
go.
watching this episode, she'll learn some things real quick. But yeah, you know,
Okay.
it's just, you know, it's an interesting journey, man. Well, let's get ready to start wrapping up here, Sprite. Sprite, you want to tell me where to find you, or you have any other social sites besides TikTok that you're on? Give it a shout out right now.
I'm gonna need for you guys. I'm on Facebook as Latricia Sprite Olmstead. I'm also on Snapchat as Remixed Hippie, and I'm on TikTok as Sprite. I don't have any other social networking sites. I got banned on Instagram. Instagram, please let me come back. I didn't do anything. Thank you, Pete, for having me, man. Like I said, you're an awesome dude. Love the podcast. Love everything. You guys, please follow Pete. If you have not watched none of his episodes, I'm gonna need for you guys to get on that. He is awesome. He is cool. And let's show some support here.
Right.
And I mean this.
Tell him, girl. Tell him. Give him the eyebrow.
Just in case if Marva's watching, I will play a wonderful She-Hulk.
Well, guys,
thank you for having me.
No, you're so welcome. I appreciate you coming, guys. We're gonna wrap up this episode of Peace vs. Anxiety. Everybody, Sprite, thank you so much for being here. Like I said, I appreciate you coming. You know, I did not anticipate what you were gonna say. You're right, because that was a whole nother ball game. But I mean, I appreciate you coming. It's hard when you come on and you share those things and you have to tell people about it. It's hard, but we appreciate you being here. Everybody appreciate everybody in the comments, everything else. Guys, you know where to find me on Peak vs. Anxiety and pretty much everything. I'm down X all the way down to TikTok. I'm down Spotify all the way down to iHeartRadio. And as I always say, it costs nothing, absolutely nothing to be kind to somebody. One kind act you can do can save somebody's life, or hell, you can make their day. I'm Pete vs. Anxiety, saying out, saying, don't ask how your day is. Ask how your mental health is today.